Individual competition. I'm Al Troutwig along with Kathy Rigby-McCoy. And the first to mount the balance beam is 16-year-old Soviet gymnast Oksana Omelianchik, tied for first after the all-around competition, which helped her qualify for these individual competitions.
As I mentioned on the uneven bars, Oksana is really aggressive in her approach to all the apparatus. She doesn't seem to hold back. She's not overly controlled. Now here's a back handspring, two back handsprings right into a layout. She moves so freely. The next run she has coming up really shows off the style of Oksana and her originality. Watch this. Her stag handstand. Look at the toe point, the straight legs. Right into a drop split. She has an original move coming up. It's a back handspring with a half twist into a back hip circle. Here it goes. Beautifully executed. You can see there she's actually smiling while she's up there. Most gymnasts have enough to do just to concentrate. You can see a little pause here preparing for her dismount. It has to be so exact. She lands with both feet on the balance beam to a double pike dismount.
Young lady from Kiev, dotting every I and crossing every T, every move accentuated.
Now to get a good score, you have to make it look like you're almost performing on the floor, and she does that with these two back handsprings into a layout.
A 9.95 for Omelianchik with some very talented gymnasts to go. One of them is Romania's Daniela Silivas, who is 2 inches shorter than little Oksana.
And Al, this is an original mount. It's kind of a mixed grip right to a shoulder stand. Very innovative. Watching Silivas in practice, fireworks could go off around her and she wouldn't be distracted. She is so intense. Showing flexibility here. Got into an aerial walkover. Beautifully executed, as if she's floating in air. Full turn. She seemed to be the last one in the gym in practice. Every time they practiced, every time they went out to rehearse these routines. Back handspring right into a layout. She landed on both feet. Difficult to do. Once again, that beam is only 4 inches wide. Pressure is really on when there's only one event going on at a time. All eyes are watching. Back handspring, 2 layouts in a row, and she is solid. No bobbles.
Silivas came in with a score of 9.925. She would need to be perfect to beat Omelianchik. A 9.95 would create a tie.
And watch this combination for the dismount. Round off back handspring, double back, slight step there on the end. Back handspring, and 2 layouts in a row, and she had no trouble with that at all.
A 9.90 for Daniela Silivas. I can only imagine what they would have given her had she not hopped at the dismount.
That would have been a 10, right?
Shushanova, the powerful Soviet, still to come, and then we'll have floor exercise from Beijing. Little people. Where do they come from? Well, in Beijing, we visited a gymnastics school where we found out that they grow up from being even littler people. They start them young. And while these mini students are taught with dedication and knowledge, there is always a little room for a word from a former Olympic star. The enthusiasm is the same as the kids back home. The laughs, the disappointments, the dedication to learn. The world is truly becoming smaller all the time.
Just one moon and one golden sun, the sun means friendship to everyone. But the mountains are wide and the ocean divides. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. rain. Very nice.
We saved ABC Sports complete embarrassment by not allowing me to sing along. Final competitor on the beam for the women's individual honors here in Beijing. It's Elena Shushinova. If you've ever been to the beautiful city of Leningrad, perhaps you've taken a ride in her father's taxi. But what a difficult task lies ahead for the taxi driver's daughter right now. She needs a perfect 10 just to tie for the lead with her teammate Oksana Omelianchik.
She looks a little wobbly right here at the beginning. She mounted with a very impressive planche. Little bobble there. Now this is a difficult move coming up. A back handspring into 2 layouts. Whoops, big break there. Bend in the waist. That's going to cost 1/10 of a point.
We may be watching the victim of fatigue here. Ellen has already won 3 golds, the all-around, the vault, the uneven bars. She's been performing for the better part of a week. She may just be tired.
And that was a brand new move, Ella. Back handspring with a full twist.
Might she have been thinking ahead to that move?
Absolutely. Sometimes you're concentrating so hard on the difficult elements that you tend to relax a little bit on the other moves, the easier moves. It's another back handspring straddle down right into a scale. You can see her ankle moving slightly there. That is fatigue, Al. And getting now prepared for her dismount. She can't relax here either, and this happens sometimes with the gymnasts. They tend to relax on the dismounts too and fall, but she does very well with that double back.
Just a little hop, but all in all, not the crisp, perfect performance we've come to expect from Elena Shushinova of the Soviet Union. Surprised to see some Soviet fans who have made their way to Beijing. Some Romanian fans here as well. 9-7-7-5. The score for Elena Shushinova. She will finish in 3rd place and capture the bronze. Daniela Silivas of Romania the silver. And Oksana Omelianchik, her first gold of the World Cup. Is now Camila Voina of Romania.
And she mounts with a double layout, one of the most difficult elements in the floor exercise for women's gymnastics. And she nails it. Nice work. I had 2 judges come up to me and tell me to really take notice of this gymnast.
No fatigue in her performance. This is the only event that she qualified in from the all-around, so she's been saving all her energy for this one single performance.
Very innovative. In front, run off back handspring, double back. Great difficulty.
She's got the crowd behind her.
Watch this now. Possibly a brand new style in women's gymnastics on the floor X. Here we go. I think I've seen that in breakdancing now somewhere. There we go. Last tumbling run. Full in double back. She is going to be hard to beat.
Oh, this kid from Romania is a big hit in Beijing tonight.
And she really has to drive hard into this double layout to get the speed and the rotation and also to get the height. Remember, she's going 2 times around, and look how straight her body is in the air. She just pikes slightly as she comes down, but not enough to get a deduction.
A 9-9-5 for Voina with Shushinova still to come. One of the judges at this competition is Czechoslovakia's Vera Chavslavska. In 1964 at the Tokyo Olympics, she established herself as one of the gymnastic greats with 3 golds and 2 silvers. Then, just after the Soviets occupied her home country at the '68 Olympics, she won 4 golds and 2 silvers, but not without a political statement, as Jim McKay described.
Listen to that roar for Vera Chavslavska. And now the Soviet anthem. And again, she has turned her head to the right and down, just as she did at the last ceremony. This does not appear to be an accident.
You're looking at the woman that was my hero in '68. We're friends now, and I know the pain that she felt. I think the whole world knew.
Interesting how some of the more memorable Olympic moments did not occur during competition at all. Elena Shushinova of the Soviet Union now in floor exercise. Remember, they carry over their scores from the all-around competition, in which medals were awarded for the total accumulation of scores on all apparatus. Now, in this, the final event of the individual competition, we are watching medals that are awarded for each individual apparatus.
And she also begins with a double layout. Body is a little bit loose on that, but she makes it around with no problem. Once again, we'll see the power of Shushanova. She begins her second tumbling run. It's a combination tumbling run. Round off to a side Somi 1.5, and she immediately goes into a back handspring to a layout. This is a new exercise for Shushanova. Showing her flexibility here. Soviets have always had very creative choreography. It's one of their strong points. And here's her last tumbling run. Right into a double back. Not quite the difficulty of Voynia. Remember, Voynia ended with a full-in double back, and that was just a double back. So we'll see what the scores say.
Well, that was some unnatural edit in her music that allowed that abrupt ending. Elena Shushanova of the Soviet Union.
And a 9.975 gives her the lead, but if I were Voynia, I'd be a little bit disappointed with the scoring.
Here now is the final performer in the final apparatus of the World Cup, Oksana Omelianchik. She won the gold in the beam competition, finished second for the silver in the uneven bars, and also won the silver in the vault. It's been quite a weekend for her.
And if you remember from the World Championship, she has very unusual music and usually a real crowd pleaser on this event. Not to mention great difficulty. Here's her full-in double back, right into a back handspring step out.
Kathy, she tries in her routines, in every routine that we've seen, to be a little bit different. Here it's the music and some of her moves. On the balance beam, it was some of the movements with her hands and her feet.
She takes after Olga Korbut, who was, of course, from the '72 Olympics, but the style is very similar. Back handspring to a triple twist, front flip. Now this is her very popular combination tumbling runs, 2 in a row.
Kathy, if it came down to choosing one of the Soviet gymnasts, Shushanova or Omelianchik, if you were the team coach and you had one routine in order to win the championship, who would you pick?
Well, I would have to think that Omelianchik on this particular apparatus was really the most fun to watch and has greater difficulty, although Shushanova gets the score.
Well, the crowd obviously enjoyed the performance of Oksana Omelianchik.
Soviet fans have certainly had a lot to cheer for here. And what about this? A perfect 10. What a way for us to remember the Soviet performance here at this World Cup. But Omelianchik will capture the bronze. Kamila Voynia of Romania the silver. Elena Shushanova will capture the gold. All in all, for the Soviets, 10 of the 15 medals awarded at this.
Blue gainers. He down